As I walked down Elm Street, the setting sun cast long, eerie shadows on the old, gnarled trees that lined the road. It was a street that had always given me the creep. I'd heard the stories, the urban legends that had been whispered about Elm Street for generations. They spoke of a curse, a malevolent force that haunted the street, claiming the lives of those who dared to walk its cursed path. I had always dismissed these tales as mere superstition, the stuff of nightmares, until that fateful evening. As I reached the halfway point of the street, I noticed something strange. The air grew colder, and an eerie silence settled over the neighborhood. The once familiar houses seemed to loom ominously in the twilight, their windows dark and foreboding. My footsteps echoed loudly in the stillness, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I quickened my pace, determined to reach the end of Elm Street and escape this oppressive atmosphere. But as I did, I heard a faint, haunting melody, the sound of a music box playing a melancholic tune. I turned to see where it was coming from, but there was no one in sight. The music seemed to be emanating from the house on the corner, a decrepit Victorian mansion with ivy-covered walls and broken windows. My curiosity got the better of me, and against my better judgment, I approached the house. The front door was ajar, and the music grew louder as I entered. The interior was shrouded in darkness, and I could barely make out the shapes of dusty, antique furniture. The music box sat on a table, its delicate figurine spinning to the tune of the haunting melody. I reached out to touch it. As my fingers brushed against the cool metal, a sudden, overwhelming feeling of terror washed over me. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my chest. The melody continued, growing more frantic, as if it were warning me to leave. I heeded the message and fled the house, the music box's haunting notes following me all the way out. As I continued down Elm Street, the night fell, and the streetlights flickered to life, casting an eerie, yellow glow on the surroundings. I could hear the faint whispers of the wind, as if it were carrying secrets of the past. I realized that I was not alone on this forsaken street. Shadows moved in the corners of my vision, and I could sense a presence behind me. I turned to see a figure, a dark silhouette, standing just beyond the reach of the streetlight. It was a figure that should not have been there, a specter that defied all reason. It was the embodiment of the curse that had plagued Elm Street for generations. I ran, my footsteps echoing in the silent night, but the figure pursued me relentlessly. It was as if it could materialize and dematerialize at will, appearing and disappearing with each turn I made. Panic gripped me as I realized that there was no escape from this malevolent force. As I approached the end of Elm Street, I saw a small park, a sanctuary from the horrors that had befallen me. I dashed into the park, desperate for safety. The figure followed, but it seemed to hesitate at the park's entrance. The park was different, a place that the curse could not breach. Gasping for breath, I looked around and saw a small gazebo at the center of the park. I took refuge there, the curse unable to approach. The figure stood at the edge of the park, its dark form writhing in frustration. I knew then that I was safe, at least for the time being. The curse that had haunted Elm Street could not enter the park, and I had found a moment of respite. But I also knew that I could never leave. For the moment I stepped out of the park's protective boundary, the curse would claim me, and so I sit here in the gazebo, watching the cursed street that stretches before me. Elm Street, a place of nightmares and despair, a place where the malevolent force lurks in the shadows, waiting for its next victim. If you ever find yourself on Elm Street, heed my warning and stay far away, for the curse that haunts this forsaken road is real, and it will never let you go.